I want to say thank you guys for all of the new followers, all of the new subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's because of you guys and girls out there that we are growing on YouTube. We are growing on Twitch every single day. And like I said, guys, even on like our social media platforms, all of those things, it's because of you guys that we're growing, and I appreciate all of you. I've got a lot of things I can't wait to share with you, a lot of announcements and things of that nature that you're going to be seeing in the coming weeks. I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to start talking more about it in the foreseeable future in terms of some of the things that we have planned on YouTube, on Twitch, and so on and so forth. So really, really excited about it. I want to talk about some developments that we've been getting about Gears of War 6 in particular. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumblings, a lot of rumors, speculation going around the community in terms of, when can we expect Gears of War 6? When could we potentially see a Gears of War collection? I get these questions all the time on my YouTube channel as well as on Twitch here. We get those questions a lot, right? And obviously, I don't have insider information, guys, in regard to what's happening behind the scenes over at the Coalition. But we've got a lot of things that are coming out in terms of articles, lots of speculation, a lot of things that are starting to come to the forefront. So I definitely want to talk about all of those things with you here today on the Gears Cast. So where we start, and by the way, guys, welcome everyone who's joining us into the Gears Cast. I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for being here. So let's talk about specifically some updates that are going on with Gears of War 6, Gear 6, whatever you want to call it at this point in time. So some stuff that obviously, some of us in the community did not want to hear, but this is an article that's coming to us from Comic Book Gaming Tyler Fisher. So the Gears 6 update isn't the update Xbox fans wanted. So I want to go ahead and I want to talk about this, break it down. I want to get your guys' thoughts about this, obviously, in the comment section down below, or if you're watching this on Twitch, definitely want to hear what your guys' thoughts on this are. So a new update out of the Coalition isn't the update Gears of War or Xbox fans wanted to hear. Right now, the expectation is that the studio is working on the next Gears of War game, likely called Gears 6. Why is this the expectation? Well, because since its birth, it's only made Gears of War games, and when you consider the IP is one of Xbox's biggest, you'd expect this work to continue. To this end, many have taken a new job listing to mean the game is nowhere near release. So yes, guys, so let's talk about this new job listing that came out from the Coalition. Well, the job listing in question is for a lead mission designer. This is a pretty prominent role in a studio, so this job listing means one of two things. One, the game is in the early stages of development, and the studio is bulking up for development. This would be bad news for fans of the series, as it would confirm the game is nowhere near release. Of course, development of every game is different, and there are so many variables, but if this is true, it likely would mean the game is roughly 3 years out. So yes, let's talk about this. Obviously, we've been talking a lot, guys, on the YouTube channel. By the way, you guys can check out all of my Gears of War content on the channel. But yes, we've been talking a lot about the job listings coming out of the Coalition. What do these job listings mean in terms of when we start talking about Gears of War 6? How far out are we? Obviously, them bringing on a lead mission designer, this obviously gives me, I have a couple of thoughts here in regard to this, because if you're bringing on a lead mission designer, it means one of a couple of things. Obviously, they're hiring a new lead mission designer. Does that mean that they didn't have one before? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Did they not have a lead mission designer up to this point for Gear 6? That is one question. Another would be maybe the lead mission designer that was there at the Coalition ended up leaving and, moved on to a different studio, things of that nature. There could be a number of things that happened there. So maybe Gears of War 6 is in the very early stages of development, if they obviously are just now bringing on a lead mission designer, if they didn't have one beforehand. But it also could mean that maybe the mission designer that was there ended up leaving and now they're looking for a new lead in that, particular area. Regardless, it doesn't really even matter which way you look at it from that perspective, because even if you had someone that was there as the lead mission designer, most likely the next lead mission designer that would come in would probably have a little bit of a different vision that other mission designer had for like the story and things of that nature. And so a lot of things could end up being scrapped, and then they end up like doing a lot of these things over again. All in all, guys, it's not necessarily, I would have to say, even though we know that the development on Gears of War 6 is ramping up, it's definitely something that is unfortunate to hear either way, because it's probably further out than we had anticipated. Now, I had originally said, guys, that the Gears of War collection was most likely going to come out in 2022. Obviously, that's not happening. It didn't get announced at the Xbox Game Showcase. There are some people saying that the Gears of War collection doesn't exist. So, in my mind, though, I believe it exists. I just think that it's probably another year away. We're probably going to get an announcement for it at some point next year in 2022 or 2023. And then it'll probably release in late 2023. That would be, of course, the Gears of War remaster, 1, 2, 3, as well as Judgment. That'll be the bridge title to get us to Gears 6. Gears 6 is most likely, like I was saying, probably 2024 or 2025. And the more information that's coming out now, guys, about, the hirings from the Coalition, it seems like Gear 6 very well may be now pushed more so to 2025, or even maybe 2026, which would be the longest stretch of time that we've ever had between Gears of War titles. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think that, the Coalition, Xbox, they want to do this thing right. They want to take their time, and I think that's great, because that means that we're going to get a better, or we should at least be getting a really great product here at the end of the day. But the article continues here. And it continues with, the alternative is the studio recently lost its lead mission designer and is now having to find a new one during development. This wouldn't be ideal either. Of course, there are other explanations and no guarantee this is even for Gears of War 6. However, these other possibilities are seemingly less likely. And for what it's worth, the job listing mentions forging the future of the IP after name-dropping Gears of War and noting the studio is the official home of the series. In other words, it seems to be Gears of War related, though perhaps it won't be Gears of War 6. I believe, guys, look, there's only so many things that it could be that the Coalition's working on. All right, number one, Gears of War collection. That's something that a lot of people are talking about. And could it be the Gears of War collection? Absolutely. I mean, it could. However, why would a remaster of the original titles need a lead mission designer? It doesn't make any sense. The same thing goes with like motion capture. The Coalition's hiring motion capture. They're not going to be doing motion capture on those, remastered Gears of War titles. That being what we think, Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. So a lead mission designer is going to be for the next Gears of War title, or could it be for something else that the Coalition's working on? It's been reported that the Coalition is working on a couple of things. Not only are they working on Gears 6, or we should say the future Gears of War, but they're also working on a new IP altogether. It's like their own IP. I don't know if it's going to be in the Gears of War universe, but apparently it's going to be a completely new IP altogether. And lastly, they are helping out, reportedly, helping out with the Perfect Dark reboot. So a number of these things, obviously a lead mission designer doesn't make sense for the Perfect Dark reboot because they're not the ones that are heading it up, right? They're just helping out and assisting on the Perfect Dark reboot. To me, it's either Gears of War 6 or it is for this new IP altogether that the Coalition's working on. I don't believe that the Coalition has a massive team working on this new IP unless Microsoft feels very confident in what they're doing. And the Gears of War collection, I believe, is actually being worked on by another company, like People Can Fly or another company altogether that can just kind of assist the Coalition. So the Coalition has all hands on deck with Gears of War 6. Allowing someone else to work on the remaster, I think, would be very smart. And People Can Fly, I think, would be perfect for that. There's a couple other companies like Epic Games would be awesome to see them do the Gears of War collection. I don't think they probably are, but that would be awesome. So this really leads me to either Gears of War or the new IP that the Coalition is working on. So here we go. The Coalition is seeking an inspiring, highly motivated mission design lead with a proven track record of delivering highly engaging, high-quality campaign experiences in games. This is what the job listing reads. In this position, you will work with the campaign director and the level design team to design the campaign experience, its pacing, its rewards, and the features that surround it. You will be expected to lead the level design team and set the priorities, partner with and guide other members of the design team, the level art team, programmers, and other design disciplines to help make the design vision set out by design direction a reality. So at the moment of publishing, none of the implicated parties have commented on the job listing and the speculation it has created. So look, here's the deal. One of the big things that I think are very, very important that we all, talk about here is, look, Gears of War 6, guys, is definitely being made. Whether it's called Gears of War 6, Gear 6, or Gears of War, Forever, whatever the title is, doesn't matter. The future of Gears of War is being worked on. There's we can go back to Rod Ferguson, who was the studio head at the Coalition at the time. Before he left the Coalition, he had confirmed a Gears of War 6, a Gears 7, as well as a Gears of War movie. All of those things got confirmed by him. Now, obviously, he's not there anymore, right? He is now working on the new Diablo title with Blizzard. And, happy for him. And, hopefully he has great success with his future endeavors. But I do believe that there's something to be said there, that there's definitely an idea in the Coalition's mind, even with him no longer being there, for a Gears of War 6, a Gears 7, a Gears of War movie, I believe is something that they're definitely wanting to do as well. Is it something that's going to happen? That's another conversation for another day. But I really believe, guys, that Gears of War is, even though it's at I'm not going to say all-time lows, because it's definitely not at all-time lows. I believe the all-time lows were definitely in the past, that being with Gears of War Judgment. I thought those were the dark ages of Gears of War. We're at a lull in time. We're at a limbo state right here, right now. With Gears of War 5, obviously, when we look at it, Gears 5 is no longer being supported. The esports scene has been dropped at this point. So the Coalition is completely focusing now on the future of Gears of War, as well as their own future IP that they're working on over there. And so I think at the end of the day, even though this doesn't sound like great news, like they're, looking for a new lead mission designer, obviously, guys, the concepts, all of those things, I believe are in place because obviously they already have a campaign director. They already have a level design team that's there. The mission design lead obviously is going to be something interesting, but they're going to be working closely with the campaign director. And so, unfortunately, I do think that this is something that does mean there are going to be more delays with Gear 6, for sure. We originally thought 2024, 2025 was probably going to be when we were going to get the next installment in Gears of War. And I still believe that that's probably the timeline, but I think it's probably more likely going to be 2025 now. Unless the Coalition, they've got, they really speed things up. They want to get things really, fine-tuned, but they want things, they're on a time crunch, right? And that's, you never want that to really be a reality, but there may be that type of thing. It depends on what Microsoft's, motives are, their ambitions here in terms of when they want to get the next Gears title out, or maybe they're fine with the Coalition taking their time and doing it right. And if that's the case, take your time. Coalition, take your time. We want to have the perfect title come out. We want to have something where at launch It's well polished, it's ready to go. There's not a bunch of bugs, glitches, things of that nature. And we have a launch similar to Halo Infinite's launch, which was absolutely incredible. I also, though, want the Coalition to learn from the mistakes of Halo. That being like, obviously Halo Infinite didn't launch with everything there, like Forge mode, and then the HCS, they didn't have a real like long-term, they probably have a long-term plan for it, but they didn't have things in place, that had consistent tournaments, ready to go. It was more one of those things where the tournaments have been, planned out. And the issue is that there's 5-month lulls between tournaments and majors and such. Obviously, I do not want that to happen with Gears Esports, with Gears of War 6. So making sure everything's fine-tuned, ready to go is going to be absolutely massive. But with that down, what do you guys think about all of this? I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below, guys. What do you think about, this new lead mission designer being hired from the Coalition? Do you think this is good news, bad news, in terms of the time frame or the timeline of when Gears 6 could be coming out? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more Gears of War 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.